The movie opens as we see several workers are sanitizing the area while wearing hazmat suits as a truck approaches a toll booth. When a truck driver drives through the toll booth, he accuses the workers of slowing him down, but they reassure him that nothing is wrong and that they are simply sanitizing the area because there was a little leak at a neighboring nuclear plant. The sound of his ringing phone causes him to become preoccupied as he passes the toll booth, causing him to strike a deer by mistake. He surveys the situation and then returns to his truck and leaves. The deer is knocked to the ground, yet despite the collision, it stumbles to its feet and turns to show that it is infected. Seok-woo, a workaholic fund manager in Seoul, hardly has time for his daughter Swan, much less his divorce. Swan says she wants to go see her mother in Busan, after Seok-woo having a difficult day at work, mistakenly giving her the same birthday gift as the previous year. Seok-woo is initially apprehensive about attending because of his job, but his mother persuades him by playing a video of Swan singing Aloha Oe at a school recital that he was unable to attend because of work. Seok-woo decides to travel to Busan the next morning by booking the next KTX train out of guilt. Seok-woo almost collides with an oncoming swarm of ambulances and police vehicles, as he transports Swan to the station in the early morning. Swan reaches out the car window and catches an ember in her palm as Seok-woo wonders what may be going on, causing Seok-woo to discover the burning building in the distance. Despite mentioning that something horrible is happening, he nonetheless drives to the station. They board the train, along with a high school baseball team, a rich but self-centered CEO named Yeon-suk, two elderly sisters named In-gil and Jong-gil, a homeless man who appears to be aware of the zombie situation, tough working-class husband Sang-hwa and his pregnant wife Sung-kyung. A large bite wound on the young woman's leg is seen as she boards the train while having spasms. When the station manager tells the KTX to depart outside the train, he or she is startled to find a crowd of people yelling at an unidentified object from atop the station stairs. Swan is the only one to see the manager being swiftly ambushed by a vicious human via the window. Swan gets up to use the restroom while shaking with fear. The sick woman is discovered in the lower numbered cars, and a train attendant tries to revive her but is unable because the woman has already begun to change. The attendant then panics and runs into the baseball team's car while the zombie is still holding onto her neck. The two then collapse to the ground, both now zombies. Only 4 kids, including baseball player Yong-guk, his crush Jin-hee, and 2 unnamed lads, manage to escape the two's attack on the majority of the baseball team and the zombie horde. Swan, searching for a restroom, unknowingly moves toward the lower compartments as the zombies sprint for the top ones and infect everyone in their path. When Seok-woo wakes up, he discovers Swan is not in her seat. Then he gets a call from a coworker telling him that violent riots have started all throughout Korea. Soon, a group of terrified passengers from the lower compartments rush past his seat while yelling and running. Now as Seok-woo is running away from Swan, he realizes that she might be in danger. Seok-woo arrives to Swan just as a swarm of zombies is about to attack her. As the horde pursues them after he snatches her, Seok-woo manages to escape to his compartment and attempts to seal it, almost keeping Sang-hwa and Sung-kyung inside. The survivors fight to secure the door, only to discover that the zombies are unable to open it and will only charge at the sight of people. To solve the problem, Sung-kyung covers the windows with water and newspapers, making the zombies believe they are not there. Over the speaker, the conductor tells the survivors that the train would not travel to Busan but rather halt at Daegu Station instead, since he has been informed that the military has been sent there. Yeon-suk inquires about the situation in Daegu over the phone with his co-workers, which Seok-woo overhears and interprets as a threat to forcibly quarantine all incoming travelers. So that he and Swan won't be quarantined, he calls a co-worker in secret and persuades him to pick them up separately. When the train reaches the deserted Daegu Station, Seok-woo leads Swan to the east exit, where they would be picked up, while the other passengers proceed to the main exit. After hearing Seok-woo's phone call, the homeless man pursues him. As the three move down the hallway, they notice a soldier off in the distance. Seok-woo is relieved and motions for Swan to keep still as he rushes to the soldier for assistance, only to discover that he is hurt. The soldier begs them to assist him before a swarm of infected soldiers come around the corner and crush and eat him. The last survivors move toward the main entrance. The survivors realize that the troops are all infected and that the deployment has failed as they approach the bottom of the escalator and spot a sizable number of uniformed men. As the passengers rush back up the escalator and into the station, several of them are eaten and infected. Swan is instructed to flee by Seok-woo, who is still within the station concourse and confronting zombies. As she is doing so, she runs into Sung-kyung and Sang-hwa, who are also racing back to the train. While Sang-hwa battles the horde alongside Seok-woo, Yong-guk, and the 2 other baseball players, Seung-kyung grabs Swan and sprints to the platform. They hurry to the train after successfully locking the departure door. As soon as they get to the platform, Yong-guk's two buddies are attacked and infected. Yeon-suk, Jin-hee, and a few other people have gotten on the train successfully in the meantime. A glass bridge above the train breaks, sending zombies raining down the platform as Seung-kyung and Swan enter the vehicle. In one of the lower infected compartments, Seung-kyung, Swan, In-gil, and the homeless man barricade themselves inside a bathroom, while Yong-guk, Sok-woo, and Sang-hwa safely board a safe compartment. When Sang-hwa phones his wife, he discovers that she is stuck in the restroom with a few other people. The three of them start battling through the lower compartments to save them because they can't bear to see them perish. They learn along the way that the zombies are blind in the dark and only respond to sound. They take advantage of this, successfully rescue the victims, and then rush together in the direction of the manager, Yeon-suk, Jin-hee, Jong-gil, and the first compartment. When they have saved the survivors and are on their way to Jin-hee's compartment, Yong-guk texts Jin-hee to let her know. When the others hear of her joy, they get hostile and decide to shut the door to their compartment to keep the group out. Yong-guk tries to unlock the locked door while Sok-woo and Seung-hwa battle to block the zombies from entering from the opposite side. Given the little amount of time, Seung-hwa instructs Sok-woo to take care of his wife and stay behind to fend off the zombies. After sobbing profusely, Sok-woo releases the door, dragging Swan and Seung-kyung toward the locked door. Seung-hwa is able to inform his wife the name he decided on for their unborn boy before he is completely engulfed. The locked door is dismantled, and the survivors pack themselves safely within the compartment. There is another door inside the compartment, which they close, though In-gil is not quick enough and gets eaten. Sok-woo angrily hits Yeon-suk and demands to know why he did such a thing, realizing that Seung-hwa and In-gil may have lived as well if the gang hadn't blocked the door. Yeon-suk, who is unable to respond, lies to the other people and maintains that Sok-woo and his companions are infected. They instill panic in the initial group that blocked the door, forcing Sok-woo and the group that had just entered the compartment, to which Jin-hee has now been added, into the hallway that separates their compartment from the conductor's car. Yeon-suk and the others tie down the knob after they are forced out in order to keep them from going back in. They do this by using their ties and shirts. Jong-gil, who is still in shock and is not speaking after witnessing her sister's needless death, spots In-gil's face among the zombies in the door window. She reveals to her infected sister that she had a long and fruitful life and acknowledges that the compartment group's acts were responsible for her sister's passing. Jong-gil opens the safe compartment door, letting the zombies pour in out of frustration and defeat. They see shadows of the passengers desperately clawing at the door they just barricaded in a terrible twist of fate, but the survivors within the hallway can do nothing but watch as the group is consumed inside the compartment. Busan has been able to fend off the zombie outbreak, according to a radio alert that the conductor hears. The train is nonetheless stopped by track debris as they get close to a station before Busan. The conductor announces over the speaker that he will find another train on an open track to take them to Busan, and that they should follow him. He also wishes them luck because they will have to get off the train and manage to cross the zombie-infested tracks. After stepping out of the cockpit, he discovers a clear passage and eventually comes across a cargo train. He turns it on and starts moving down the track in the direction of Busan while looking for survivors on the rails. Unbeknownst to Sok-woo and the others, Yeon-suk has managed to escape the horde of zombies in the compartment by hiding in the bathroom, and has left the train. He battles his way out of the compartment, but several zombies follow him as he exits the train. While this is going on, Sok-woo's group is walking toward the freight train, when a blazing freight car suddenly charges towards them. It rams into some surrounding railroad cars, knocking them to the ground and cutting off Jin-hee and Yong-guk's path. Without realizing Yeon-suk, who is being pursued by a zombie, is following them, they enter one of the following train carriages and exit through the door. Jin-hee is sacrificed to the zombie by Yeon-suk, who enters the vehicle and throws Jin-hee behind him. After fending off the zombie, Yong-guk falls to the ground while holding Jin-hee in his arms as she begins to spasm. Ignoring them, Yeon-suk manages to pry open the door and rushes in the direction of the freight train. As Yeon-suk sprints in the direction of the cargo train, he bends his ankle on the rails and one of the zombies chasing him manages to bit his ankle. The conductor jumps off of the moving vehicle to assist, but Yeon-suk betrays him and casts him aside for the zombies, just like he did with Jin-hee. He gets on the train alone, ignoring the conductor's cries for help. On the other side of the debris, under a train loaded with zombies, is the homeless guy, Swan, Sok-woo, and Seung-kyung. The train's windows are in danger of shattering at any second. Sok-woo locates a gap beneath the train and starts to crawl through it, But the train portion collapses and closes the entrance before the other three can pass through. A small group of zombies escape from a broken window as a result of the impact and make their way towards the three. Sak-woo is able to clear the rubble and Sung-kyung and Swan are able to flee after the homeless guy reluctantly gives himself to the zombies. They sprint over to the cargo train's outside platform and board it. When Yeon-suk is seen in the conductor's seat, milky-eyed and infected, Sak-woo retreats from the cockpit. Yeon-suk, despite being a zombie because the illness has not yet spread to his brain, opens the door after he originally shuts it. Yeon-suk approaches Sak-woo and pleads with him to drive him to Busan, acting like a young child and repeating his address and the name of his mother. Yeon-suk is initially horrified and overcome with emotion when Sak-woo informs him that he is infected. However, he quickly turns. Sak-woo starts battling the zombie Yeon-suk, almost falling off the edge of the car. When Yeon-suk hears Swan screaming from the other side of the car platform, he tries to attack Sung-kyung and Swan. Sak-woo steps in to stop it, but his hand ends up getting badly bit. Yeon-suk gets injured, but he is able to throw him from the automobile. He places Swan and Sung-kyung in the cockpit and instructs them on how to use the brakes once they arrive at Busan Station, knowing that he will turn very soon. He then tries to leave the car, but Swan begs him to stay and says that she didn't complete singing 𝐓𝐇𝐈𝐒 during her recital, because she didn't see Sak-woo in the crowd, and because she was saving the song for her father. After a heartbreaking goodbye, Sak-woo briefly clutches Swan's tiny hands in his before tossing them aside and locking himself out of the cockpit. Swan starts to yell and sob for him to return. Sak-woo sobs as he makes his way to the end of the train car while holding his bloody hand as the illness spreads. While Sung-kyung tries to restrain her, Swan keeps sobbing for him inside the cockpit. Fighting the virus, he moves cautiously toward the back of the train car and starts to remember Swan as a young child. The infection sets in, his eyes turning white, his veins darkening, and he remembers his happiest recollections of cradling her and touching her little fingers and toes, like he did in the cockpit previously. Even though he is completely transformed into a zombie, Sak-woo still thinks of Swan and beams a joyful smile toward the sky before falling off the train and onto the tracks. It is unclear whether this was because of muscle spasms or whether he committed suicide by jumping off the train to protect Swan and Sung-kyung. Finally, the train vehicle pulls into the tunnel leading to Busan Station, but there is debris on the track, blocking it. Without realizing it, the two get out of the automobile and start strolling across the tunnel while being observed by the Busan military on the other side. Since they cannot tell in the dark whether they are infected or not, one of the snipers reports their approach to his commander and is ordered to kill them now. Swan starts to mournfully sing 𝐓𝐶𝐈𝐒 just as the sniper is about to fire, rallying Sung-kyung, who is fatigued, to walk to the end of the tunnel. When the troops hear her music, they understand they are not sick and immediately run to help them. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Thanks for watching my video.